What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live Thursday night at the garage. Don't have my hat on. What are we doing? Yeah, you like the new waiting room? Woo! It's only 5 years later and we're starting to get high tech. What's going on? I see Schmidt's here. I see Andrew as usual. What's the word, everybody? Besides the bird is the word. Hey, Mike. Uh, man, where to begin? Hey, Nelson. Brian, good to see you. People are trickling in here. That's what I love to see. Talk some tuning. Get some tuning done. Tommy, what do you know? Shelton. Let's see. What's new? I ordered parts for the Nova, the Smoke Monster. It's time to start working on the Smoke Monster again. Now that we have a lift, I got some suspension stuff to take care of. And then I've got an overdrive to install, which means a new transmission. But, Hey, Daryl, welcome. Virtual torque is broken. Yeah, I got 4-post ICT. I'll do a video on it this weekend. I've been so busy. Forgot about to ask about oxygen sensor readiness for the E78. Danny, hey. De La Soul? What's going on? Did you get your gift card? I emailed it to you. I'm telling you, after getting the 4-post lift in there and getting the Nova on it, I remember why I love the Smoke Monster so much. So I've got some stuff. We gotta do the heads and stuff. We got some stuff to do with it in the next couple of months. Not going to be attacking it hard, but we're going to be doing some stuff. Mr. Deluvius, good to see you. Let's see here. Tommy, elaborate on your oxygen sensor readiness, what you're asking about. Let's see here. Alden says, is it possible to tune a stock 1996 Ford F-250 with the 351 Windsor and the E40D? Alden, I honestly have no clue what kind of control would be on that. That sounds like some stuff that would be in the Mote's world of chip tuning, which I've dabbled in, but not really messed with it. Yeah, no problem, Daily Soul. I just want to make sure you got it. ICT car guy, I tell you what, you will see that I do not necessarily have enough room for a lift, but I'm glad I've got one. Tommy. Yeah, I remember what we were talking about, but I don't remember. Oh, yeah, you put the voltage to negative. Sorry. Yes. If you are wanting to turn off. Any advice on tuning a C8, Alex? Is very much Gen 5 plus Dodge. So get used to neural networking. As long as you have the factory cams in there, you're going to have factory cam. I'm assuming it's not a Z06 because I don't think support for the Z06 has been released yet. But yeah, you're going to have to do neural networking. Is the Smoke Monster the longest tenured project? Yes, Tommy, it is. After we got rid of the Super Auto, the Smoke Monster has been here the longest and will not go anywhere. I would sell everything else before I ever parted ways with the Smoke Monster. It is my favorite car. As much as I love the new Chevelle, there's something about 600 cubic inches of naturally aspirated big block that is undefeatable. It's just so cool. Not sure why, but HP tuners may or may not be trying to fix virtual torque. You'll have to elaborate, Mike. How is it broken, and how are they trying to fix it? Because I've heard this before from certain people, but I don't buy it. Am I cool? Cool, I'm still trying to do MAF tuning after you get the gasket for the exhaust to seal up right. Yep, that helps. That's one of the things I need to check out on the Smoke Monster, and I've got half a mind to have the exhaust ports O-ringed. You can't change anything in virtual torque. Well, are you running the latest beta? We talked about this last weekend. There is a version of the beta out there where you can't change anything in virtual torque. You are correct. No replacement for displacement. It feels totally different. Like LT4, very powerful motor. Makes, 600 some horsepower. Feels very, very fast. But it feels different whenever you have so much torque down low. It is completely different. My only regret is I did not put a 632 in. But I've got something very interesting. And something very interesting. It's going to take a while to get here. I have spec'd out the Goat Rope Garage LS Cam. Totally custom grind. And I don't think an engine will run with it. Because it is too crazy. Yeah, grab the latest beta, Mike. Try that. Slime Cuda, that's a great question. And I don't know, honestly. I need to ask some other people, because the general consensus has been for a while now that the Demon 170 inferred logic, which is in there for the wide bands, is how it's determining ethanol content, but them putting a sensor on there is a little bit weird. So, and the other question is, if the Demon 170, let me check if it's a GPEC2A like the Hellcat, because if it is, in theory, any Dodge that's on that platform should have an input for a flex fuel sensor. So if we look, yeah, it's a GPEC2A. That's basically used in every 2018 plus Dodge. So there is some stuff going on that I don't understand. But I will say, I'm running 65% ethanol in my Hellcat with absolutely no issues. And it runs great. I mean, runs great. Is the blower on the truck running well? Yeah, actually, in fact, I had one of the guys that I work with go for a ride in it today and was like, "Oh wow!" I need to finish dial the tune in. At the very tippy top of the RPM range, it starts getting a little lean on wide open throttle. So full boost, very tippy top. So it's got a weird transition in there, but for daily driving, the thing is spot on. 0.85 under boost, one lambda whenever we're cruising. So as I said, I have ordered a new cam, an LS cam, custom ground to my specifications, that I don't think will even idle underneath maybe 12 or 1300 RPMs. So I don't think, I may have to create a start box to spin the motor fast enough to even get this thing to start. So here's the plan. We're going to build an engine stand for the LS3. I got the LS3 out and on the engine stand. We're going to build a run stand for the LS3, throw this cam in with the new heads and all that jazz, and see if we can get this thing to fire up, because at least if it's on a run stand, I might have a chance of getting this absurd cam. It is the most absurd cam in the LS world. I will stake money on it. and I hope it runs. I'm getting low surges when I let off the gas pedal, parking lot driving, almost like it's going to dip down stall. Zero torque is zero at idle. Gen 5 LT1, BTR 225, 6L80. Any ideas? What? Okay. So don't look necessarily at your zero torque. Look at your timing. Use your timing as a base at idle and see what kind of timing that you're running. And it will give you an idea of whether or not you need more torque than any of the torque parameters. So if you are running less than 10 degrees of timing, you need to lower the torque in the virtual torque in that area of the virtual torque tables. And that's probably the problem. Have you ever ran avgas? I have 105 octane available cheaper than 93. Do it, man. Do it. Do you have train tracks to hold that engine? Listen, good chance that I will have that thing strapped to the lift whenever we try to fire that thing up, because it's ridiculous. The final spec on this cam, without getting too crazy on the numbers, is it's for an LS3 stock compression ratio, upgraded heads, and long tubes, comes in right under 600 horsepower. But I spec'd it out for the most power humanly possible from 2,500 to 7,000 RPMs. And so I ran through and iterated over 100,000 load profiles to find what I wanted. Then even whenever I found what I wanted, it was going to be too stressful on the valve train, and I had to dial it back a little bit. It's got 66 degrees of valve overlap. You want to talk about a rough idle? There you go. Ray says avgas has lead and will ruin your O2 sensors. There you go. VVT tables have been lowered in idle errors to... Yeah, but as I said, don't look at your zero pedal torque. Look at your timing. Look at your immediate, because timing is your immediate response. See what your timing is doing and adjust your virtual torque tables off of your timing. If predicted torque is lower than delivered and airflow is dialed in, that is an issue, correct. Predicted torque lower than delivered. Yes. Predicted should always be a smidge above delivered or actual. Slime Cuda, I don't know. That's what okay. What we really need is somebody to dig into the wiring harness diagram, and it's got to be available. It's the law now. You probably have to pay for it, but that's probably what I need to do, because I believe if there was logic in place, and it might be a different OS, and the tables are just not available on the Demon yet. But even if the tables were able to be were in the Demon somewhere and they're not available through HP tuners, then we should be able to essentially do like a segment swap to swap the Demon OS over to a Hellcat and run the sensor if that thing was responsible for the actual output. Because if you go in under fuel and look, there is a sensorless flex fuel drop down, and I don't know what disabled does. Does that mean that's using a sensor? The stock 170 tune says that sensorless flex fuel is enabled and equipped, so it's really weird. So it would seem, and maybe you're right, maybe it's just to show the ethanol content on the dash. Like, if we were to look at the wiring diagrams and to find out that that sensor goes back to like the body control module or something, It's probably just populating the info on the dash as part of the race pages. Wonder if Holley's coming out with a new version that allows Windows 11 to use their software. It works on Windows 11. I don't know about Android. Probably won't ever work on Android because So, without getting too crazy, Android, that chipset is not going to be compatible with the stuff needed to execute it. But I've been running on Windows 11. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. As I said, if I can get it, the thing is, I'm going to try and use a regular starter and put 24 volts to it to see if that will spin the motor fast enough, because a starter running on 12 volts at 400 RPMs is not going to be enough to build any cylinder compression to get the thing fired up. Are the codes in there in HP for the sensor? That's a good question. Let me check for DTC codes. I didn't even think about looking at the DTC codes. Avgas and carb works great. Helping the engine run cooler. But 100 LL is enough lead to mess up the sensors. Well, there you have it. Just switch over to a carb. Let me double check something else here. Let's look under general. PM car, that's different. But I'm not seeing anything. So let's look under the fuel system. I'm pretty sure I checked under the fuel system tab. There's nothing under there in regards to ethanol. And let's look at the DTC list. Scroll through. There is an incorrect fuel composition DTC. Flexible, yeah, okay, there is. Flexible fuel circuit range performance. Oddly enough, there is another one for sensor circuit, just a general, and it's not enabled. But there is flex fuel sensor circuits in the ECU DTC list. That's a good call, Ray. Was that Ray? Bob. Sorry, Bob. Good call, Bob. Chris, you are watching my love. I pour my love into everything I do. What's the best programmable EFI system? Neither Holley or Edelbrock. Depends on what you're looking for, though, Alden. I would go on I would say that somebody that specializes only in EFI is going to be at the top of the list, and there's companies like Haltech, Motec, and stuff like that. Fuel Tech, love Fuel Techs. That's all they do. These companies that do 1,000 other things, their talent gets a little diluted. Support sucks. There you go. So that I've got this, at least the sniper software running on 11, and if it runs, all the other ones should. C4 Love, good to see ya. Exactly. But at the same time, there's different learning curves, Alden, for all the different programs. So the learning curve on the Holley stuff is it doesn't ramp up very quick. The learning curve on some of the stuff that's dedicated EFI stuff can be a little bit hard, but you have a lot more flexibility whenever you do figure it out. And so I would say figuring it out is worthwhile, you know. That's interesting. Okay, hold on a second here. Dodge. What's Dodge's technical group called? Help me out here, people. Dodge Service. manuals. Nope, I don't want that. Is it just Mopar? No, I don't think it's Mopar. There's got to be a FCA. Thank you. FCA WeTech. Okay, WeTech. So, aftermarket. Whew. 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 1 year subscription, $1,600. I don't need the subscription for that. I need the technical documentation. There's got to be an easy way to access the technical documentation ad hoc. More options. No, I don't need more options. I just need become a WeTech la da 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 da. I don't need all this stuff. Man, they really want you to buy into their hardware. Whew. For some reason I thought I dug into Dealer Connect. No, that's just for dealers. Okay, I'm getting off on a side thing here. So, Dodge. Sensor may be just used for sanity checking the virtual calculation. I don't know, Andrew. It could be vice versa, though. Could be that the virtual calculation is there for sanity for checking the sensor. A long time ago. A long time ago. Joey says, remember I told you through messages that's insulting to all of us. You only have 112 subscribers. LS World needs to wake up. You and Joe Simpson need to be at top of the list. I love Joe. In fact, I was thinking about Joe either today or yesterday. I was like, man, I need to have Joe back on for another live show because he's just a world of knowledge. And I'm sure I will be calling him for issues like I always do. 170 wiring diagrams. Oh, part stock, overstock. I don't need that. I'll do some more digging. Slime. Do some more digging. There's got to be a place where this stuff is accessible, where we can look it up, because I've been thinking about it a lot too. I'm still living in Gen 3 world. Has HPT made any software? No. Nope, Brian. No reason. Oh, that's a good call, Bob. In fact, Mike probably knows exactly where I need to go to get it. Mike's the one that turned me on to using the 170 tune. So, like, yeah, I mean, there are circuit diagrams out there somewhere. It's just finding where I have to pay my $30 for 3 days access to the diagrams, like you always do. I believe it, Slime. Joe is very sharp on the Holly stuff. Just very sharp on tuning in general. Rest assured, I've called him for more issues than he's called me for. And I've also called him a few times, so he's talked me off the ledge from jerking Holly stuff out of my cars because I'm so frustrated with it. Okay, I'm done. I'm done searching for this stuff. I promise. I promise. I promise. I'm not looking anymore. Not looking anymore. No, Brian. It's if you're still on Gen 3, nothing's changed. They've not. It's not like they are unlocking new tables on Gen 3 stuff. Probably there's nothing that you would need that's new in the scanner for day-to-day tuning and stuff like that. New cam that I ordered is what 8120. Whatever they was suggested for it. Listen. I didn't want to spend a whole lot getting something crazy. It was $550, I want to say, for a custom ground cam. And honestly, when this one doesn't work, which it probably won't, I've got a couple other grinds out there to test out that are so out of the norm. Like, I've looked up people's craziest specs that they offer for like max effort, naturally aspirated builds, and the specs on every cam that I've designed is so over the top compared to those. There is one that I did design that I think only had 24 degrees of overlap that probably would run. It would have to idle at a little over 1,000, but would probably start up a little rough, idle high. But it was, on the simulated dyno, it was expected to put out over 600 horsepower naturally aspirated. What up, SB? Dude, you managed to borrow a Hennessey tune? Send it over. Send it over to the info. I'll peel it open and take a look at it. See if we can figure out what's going on. Now just go to my email. Yeah, Frankenstein 311s. The Monster series, not the F. In fact, I've had those heads for couple months now. I've been needing to make a video on them. I've just not gotten too crazy. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay, so this cam's duration is 249 intake, 265 exhaust. With 111.5 lobe separation angle. We're able to tune a 5.3 swap in an E40 ECU. Yeah, you should be able to. As long as the reluctors are right for the cam and crank. That's the big thing. As long as the cam and crank signal matches up, you can basically put any ECU on any LS. They do not care. In the long run, they do not care. Well, Chewy, I've got the Patreon, and it's not so much remote tune, it's to help people who are wanting to learn how to tune that are running into certain issues get assistance. You know, honestly, I don't want to do any more remote tuning. I still do. I enjoy it to a point, but at the same time, like, a lot of it is just so I can get experience to see different setups. No, you didn't, Brian. In fact, long story short, because of storage prices around here, I got rid of the Monte Carlo, and so I sent it back to the guy that I bought it from, essentially, and said, hey, take this car, pull my brand new LS3 that's got maybe 4 miles on of it out of there, and I said, while you're at it, why don't you just keep the ACES system? That way, if you want to do something, it's like, okay. What heads would you recommend for an LT1 with a blower? Danny? It depends. I could tell you like, let's just get the ones that have the most airflow, but you'll see that on a blower, heads are less important than naturally aspirated since you're jamming the air in there. So heads would be down the road from things that I would upgrade. Now, if you've already done intake manifold and cam and exhaust, then it's going to come back to the heads. And at that point in time, I probably get the biggest heads that they make in my port configuration, honestly. My son went and fell down the Bama tune system. I feel he's not getting anything good for his 06 Mustang GT. I don't know anything about it. Is airflow minimum on Gen 4 Camaro when I'm about to stop drop down? Yes. Airflow minimum. So your idle airflow minimum is kind of your base table for whenever your RPMs drop below 1,000 and it goes into the idle circuit. That is the initial target that it wants to go to. And so if that is too low, it will cause your RPMs to drop down. And then once the idle adaptives kick in, it will correct up and start running right. Stock Henny. What was this on? This Hennessey tune. I mean, I guess I can see it here in a second. Where's my open dialog? Open new file. Where are you? There we go. Let's go over to the whiteboard. Challenger with a Pro Charger. Oh, is this one of their Challenger kits? What do they call them? Why is my whiteboard not coming up? Here we go. Okay, so let's take a look here. Do what I like to do first. We're going to go NGC4. Interesting. 2010 Dodge Challenger SRT 8. Okay, I don't think I have anything to compare for that. Let me see. I like to always grab a base file if possible. It's 8:34, guys. I'm going to dig into this for about 10 minutes or so. If you are not interested, go ahead and skedaddle out while I just look at this tune and talk about it. And let's see if we can find a 2010. And we'll give away a couple memberships here. Remember, if you are not signed up to get free memberships, there's a way to do it. Just search YouTube, because it looks like everybody that got one is not in here. Here we go. 2010 6.1 stock tune. So 2010 Challenger. Okay, so let's go in. Let's check out a compare file and see exactly what all's been done. Oops. Well, that's not right. I can tell you. Mike, there is something that you have to do on the website. You have to log in on YouTube's website, and there's an opt-in to receive free memberships. Okay, here we go. This is an SRT Challenger. That's interesting. 6.1. Why is that grayed out? I don't know. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of it, though. Let's look at our airflow. Okay. So, even though these are both 2010s, there's so many tables here, they're not being used. So let me do this first. Let's go in and let's just open up our 2010 stock configuration. And it could be, it's not an operating system thing. I wonder if, same ECM, I wonder if this, so what we're probably seeing here is that the 2010 stock configuration was pulled a long time before the Hennessey one was, and because of that, we're seeing different tables in between the stock and the Hennessey. And that's a prime example of why you would upgrade over the time, but not necessarily in this case. So, still have neural network, but it's disabled. That's good to know. So, we're using standard VE volumetric efficiency. Pressure ratios. Yeah, I was about to say pressure ratios do not line up. So, on the stock one, we only go to a pressure ratio of 1 because there's no boost, and we go to 2. But, weirdly enough, these numbers are too low for a boosted application, which makes me think that the fuel has been jacked with significantly. Of course, they change injectors, but yep, here it is. So they've done some tuning on this through the fuel mass and pulse width tables instead of just doing it all on the airflow tables. So if we go in and look, we have up to 400% VE that we could tune this on. I'm not sure why they would go about that route. So there's that. Let's look at our spark. So they did update our KPA to 150. So this thing is running 7 pounds of boost. Nothing crazy. Very safe timing out there, though. 13 degrees at 7 pounds of boost feels a little bit safe. It's interesting that they would change the... So they leaned out the stoic value to 722. Oh, I guess I'd richen it up. It's bass backwards. Torque management. That's weird. 221 maximum torque. Let's see what the driver demand. Noise vibration. That's interesting too. That could be a throttle scaler thing though. Well, so you say we take a look at the PE. Okay. Let's look at the power enrich. It's not too far off, so they've definitely fattened up the peak torque area of this thing. Lowered the threshold on the pedal. They put a delay. That doesn't really do anything. Lowered the increase. PE increase rate is lower on enrichment rate. That's odd. Lower than stock. Half. 160. So used to having a calculator. Can you have too much timing without getting knocked? Yep. Yep. You will get to a point where you stop making power. Yeah, there's some funky stuff going on in here. Like, Friction. Okay, so that takes the torque adaptation out. They've basically taken the friction increase in min and maxes and maxed them out. Is it damaging though? Yeah, I mean, it can be. Yeah, it definitely can be. Like, you don't get carried away on spark. Even if you don't have a dyno, go to the track, and if you see that adding 2 degrees doesn't pick you up any time, use a draggy, something like that. You know, don't run the extra 2 degrees. So, like on the Smoke Monster with the big block, you know, I was running 36 degrees and then found out that I picked up no speed whatsoever, no trap over 32. Yeah, there's some funky stuff going on here. Oh, okay. Oh, is this the adjustments that you've made? Let me ask you this. Does it run better now that you've made adjustments? Oh, what the hell did I just open? I don't even know if I saved this or what'd you call this? Modded. I didn't save it here. Save as. Download. Yes, I know you've downloaded. Where did you download to? I hate this. Desktop, home, recent. Where's my recent files? Oh, well. Well, that's what I thought. I clicked on home and it didn't show. No, it doesn't show up under recents. Even though I just downloaded it. I don't think it downloaded right. To be honest with you. It says it downloaded, but... Why is it... Normally it pops open up a window. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm having trouble getting my 1000cc injectors to balance out safe fuel levels with 91. First tune flooded my cylinders. Oh, good lord. What? So let me ask you this, Ben. On your first tune, had you already adjusted your injector data? Because if you're running injector data for 600cc ones, it's going to pump in the same amount of pulse width as 600. It doesn't care if it's 600 or 1000, so you've got to scale that thing back. Yes, with the data that came on the thumb drive. Where'd you get, Ben, where'd you get your injectors from? Sounds iffy. Sounds suspect. I wonder, because the data should get you close enough for the thing to fire up and start tuning. It's not going to be spot on by any means, because there's just, you can't do all. Went from 34 to 100, but it almost sounds like if you wash cylinders down, like, whew. What are you doing this on? Because it all, I mean, do you know if it was all cylinders? I guess if it wasn't cranking over, it probably was all. Because if there's only one, it'd probably crank that one over and bend the rod or something. Question, on that LS3 Camaro, ever since I got my stage 2 installed, it takes a while for it to turn over. It takes like 4 different tries for it to turn on and stay idle. Any suggestions? You're either rich or lean. So, play with your cranking VE table. Try to take 15% out, see if it fires quicker. If it does, there's your answer. If it doesn't, maybe try to add 15 back in. You probably have too much in there. If it's still at 100%, you definitely need to take some out for the cam. If that makes sense. So it'd be cranking VE. We're looking at Dodge stuff right now, which doesn't even blend. Okay. Listen. Smells like gas. Yeah. Take 15% out of the cranking VE. It'll be in your airflow general tab. Round in this area. It's kind of like this. Desired airflow, except this is an actual pounds per hour. On Gen 4s, it is... See ya, Andrew. On Gen 4s, it is a percentage of your base VE. And so by take the whole table, it'll be 100% across the board and drop it down to 85 and give it a shot. It'll probably fire right up. Wet plugs when pulled. So, all plugs are wet. Ton of juice. Injectors are triple the size. Oh, you're at 80? Take it down to 70. I keep going down till it won't. Then I step up a couple percentage from there until it starts firing better and better. But at the same time, though, if you have to tune the VE still, whenever you tune the VE, your VE numbers may fall in line and then it won't fire up again and you'll have to readjust the cranking VE. So don't forget about that, Alex. Yeah, give it a shot. Let me know. Ben, what P59? Okay, so what year, make and model? What are you actually doing it on? So you're thinking that maybe you don't have the injector data plugged in right? Let's see here. 2000 Corvette should be a P01. Let's see here. See if I can find a P59. P01. I mean, it could be something funky like that, but honestly, I don't think so. 03 LQ4. I was getting there. Let's just do... It's close enough. This is P59. We're finally in the land of P59s. Okay, so we come under fuel, and you should have injector data that matches your tables. So the only thing that may be different is the units. If it's not in pounds per hour, it might be in grams per second or something, but it should be in pounds per hour, let's be honest. So, this table has to be copied over. Flow rate versus KPA. Minimum injector pulse has to be copied over. Need that one there. Short pulse limit has to be copied over. Short pulse adder should be there and has to be copied over. Sometimes there's an offset table. That would have to be copied over. All those have to be copied over or else you're going to have issues. You're not going to run into the injector flow rate limit on the P59. It's up to 250 some pounds per hour, so that shouldn't be an issue. So make sure you're getting those tables. Flow rate versus, I don't think that there will be a volts table in there, but as I said, be looking for the data that lines up. Literally, it should be laid out exactly the same and have this row across the top that matches. Thought my drive with my injectors was not all the info. And that could be it. But honestly, as long as the flow rate KPA is there, you're probably all right, unless this short pulse limit has to be a lot lower. Because 3.9 with 33-pound injectors isn't that big of an ordeal. 100-pound injectors, if you're saying that the minimum that they can open is 3.9, that might be causing an issue. So, you know, drop this down to 1 or something. Just try it. See if you don't have that, try to drop it down to 1. Essentially, if we pulse the injector too short, it never opens up and the car won't start. But if the short pulse limit's too big for your injectors, it delivers way more than the minimum amount of fuel needed in order to get things running. That's why you got to be careful about getting injectors that are too big. Okay, let's see. LS1 with the cam starts right with a few cranks when cold, but has extended crank when warmed up. What data should I monitor change? So, a lot of times you're an LS1, so you're basically on a P59. Look under cranking fuel. Under fuel general, you'll have the fuel multiplier stage 1 versus time over here. And you'll notice across the top, we have engine coolant temperatures. And you can see the warmer we get, the leaner we get. So if you're cold, if you're at 58, 60 degrees or whatever, you might be running this much, but whenever you get up here to 158 plus, suddenly we don't have enough fuel. You can try bumping these up a little bit and seeing if that helps, Chris. No, I get it, man. Yeah. But, as said, most likely, if you don't have the short pulse stuff correct, that's what's causing it. Oh, okay. Card map. Should buy paperweight. You don't have an IAT? Wait a second. What year? Alex? What year's your Camaro? Sorry, I don't remember. You guys are keeping me way over. 2014, the IAT should be in the MAF. You've got a 5-wire MAF, right? Is it 5, 8? I don't remember. Yeah, your IAT should be in your MAF sensor. It is part of the MAF sensor. You had me second guessing. Okay, so whenever you trigger that, go out before you do anything, pull a log, watch your IAT, and turn that thing on, okay? Hold on, this is literally the last thing we're doing tonight. Because it's 9 o'clock. Okay. Dang it, stop opening stuff up. Okay, so let's grab... Okay. So, what you're looking for is this IAT table right here. And if you notice, I'm trying to move my mouse down. It says, this table is used to modify spark advance on inlet air temperature. It adds to the current spark advance. So, it will default you probably to -40. I don't know. But see where it puts you. In what area it puts the IAT whenever it's activated. Say it says, let's just say it does -31. Come in here. We'll go ahead and wait a second. What just happened? We'll come in here. We'll grab kind of this area. Let's zero this out. And you're running 100 shot. So we want to take -4. No. -4. And add it to this area. So whenever you hit that button, it creates a resistance that defaults you to this part of the table, and it takes 4 degrees of timing out of your base table, no matter where you're at. Okay? Does that make sense, Alex? But as I said, before you jack with anything, hook it up, go out, pull a log, hold the button down, and see what your IAT reads in, because that's going to tell you where on the table to do it. It could be all the way out here at, 240 or something. 150 shot, 7 is, 6 is where I would start at. 7 is safer, obviously, but I like to do 2 degrees per 50. So, okay. Okay. Let me see here. I lost my cursor. Go back to the live screen. I stayed an extra 30 minutes because I kept on getting great questions and interesting stuff going on. Yeah, Chris, check that out. Ben, check yours out. Let me know how it goes. But I'm guessing that is that minimum pulse width on your side. Bob, you know it. ABT, you called it. Thanks for everybody that stayed late tonight. There will be some content coming out in the next week because I'm going to do stuff in the garage finally. So, stay posted for that. You guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. Remember, ABT always be tuning.